Hey guys, how are you? Wait. Much better. Today we're going to be doing match cutting. Hey guys, how are you doing? Today we're going to be doing match cuts. A match cut is pretty much just a cut between two shots where the cut matches the action or the subject matter in a way to keep fluidity going. It's basically where you can't distinguish exactly where the cut is, but you know there must have been a cut. So for a match cut to actually work, the second shot has to be different to the first shot. However, there are different ways of doing match cuts which will make it better. Like for example, like this, basically my head has moved and it basically looks different. So that's an example of a poor match cut. However, that's a better example of a match cut. Obviously right now it's not working very well because I have these lights in the background, so you know exactly where the cut is because the lights have changed, which is a bit of a shame, but you know what, it doesn't matter. We'll just keep going. So for a match cut to actually work, it has to make sense for the logic of the movement. Like when I snap my finger, there's no primary movement compared to when I put my head down. This is where you want to direct the most movement to the part you're going to change. So it's basically trying to get as much movement as possible to get as much motion blur in that area that you're going to be changing to make it seem smoother. So a good example is when I put my shoes on in one of the last videos where I jumped into my shoes. So I made sure that the part where there was the most motion blur, where I was close to my shoes, I made the cuts. So that made it look like seamless editing. So there's multiple different reasons why you can use match cuts. Some people might use it because it's stylistic, so obviously it looks good, so people would be like, ooh, that's smooth. But I like to use it as more of passing of time. If I want to get changed, instead of showing the whole process of getting changed, firstly, I don't think anybody wants to see that. It looks cooler if you just spin around and then you change. Another main reason is because on YouTube or when watching films, viewers have a very short attention span. So you want to be able to make your videos as entertaining as possible where the viewer is never bored and always interested in what you're doing. It's also very useful for when you want to get from point A to point B and you don't want to film the whole process in between, because that again might bore the viewer. So you could literally just hold the camera, for example, and just say 3, 2, 1, and then as you pan, you create that motion blur, and then you do it again once you've arrived. Took out the middle part, threw it away, put both ends, stuck them together, and it made it look like one seamless edit. In my opinion, match cuts are some of my favourite cuts because it shows off that you're a good editor, that you can seamlessly put together two clips. But it also shows that you know exactly what you're doing, that you've been able to plan out, I'm going to do this shot and then I'm going to go back in with this shot to make it one seamless transition. People use time lapses, drone shots, establishing shots, B-roll, all that to show the passing of time. And to change it up a bit, match cuts are a great alternative. So for this example, I'm going to show you how to do it for the same clip that I use at the start of the video. So before you want to do any match cut, you're going to need 4 things. First, you're going to need a camera, because obviously you're going to want to film it. Secondly, you would need a tripod because you want the image to be as stable as possible so that the background doesn't change at all. 3, you're going to need a computer with some editing software so that you can make the cut. And 4, you're going to need yourself or subject matter, obviously. So step 1, try and find a cool sort of location, or it doesn't even have to be cool, you just need to find something that you want to use as your backdrop or just in the shots. But most importantly is when you found that shot, you must stay to the angle. Your camera has to be as still as possible for the duration of this shot. Step 2, mark where you're going to stand. So if I'm outside, I'm going to use what's around me as a marker. So I might use a twig or a small pebble or anything really that you can just stand on or stand next to, where you'll be able to determine where you stood that first time. Step 3, so you're going to want to do a movement that kind of matches the thing you're changing. So when I'm changing my cap, I'm ducking my head because that's the thing I want to change. Step 4, obviously change what you're going to be changing in the videos. It's pretty self-explanatory, you just change what you want to do. Step 5, so you now want to bring your 2 clips and put them into your editor. Put them together and try and find the place where there's the most movement between your 2 shots. So then you want to cut out the middle part and put the 2 videos together, tweak it a bit, adjust it, nearly, okay, simple. Looks good, doesn't it? And you don't even need to be that good at editing for it. That's the great thing about this. Match cuts can look amazing and can make you look good even though you're not that good. Well, I'm not saying I'm a bad editor, but I'm just saying anybody can do it and anybody can make it look good. Oh, and also, if your camera can shoot in 4K, there's something else that I can recommend. Now this shot is a bit harder to do. So if you're trying to do a match cut where maybe you're trying to change locations or something like that, what you could do is film both scenes in 4K, then you take the second shot, put it on top of the first shot, lower the opacity down to about 30%, then you adjust it and position it correctly so that you're in the same position, bring the opacity back up, make the cut, and then boom. It's as easy as that. And it looks pretty good. So this was a simple tutorial, nearly anybody can do it, so I would just advise you to go ahead and try and make a match cut. I'm interested to know, so leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you shared it to all your friends and family, and if you didn't enjoy it, I would love it if you could share it to all your enemies, because why not? This was such a bad joke. But anyway, you can always like and subscribe, and remember, if you believe it, you can achieve it. See you guys tomorrow.